Hi, it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. Glad you're back with me tonight. And I've got a new story for us. It's a Disney Winnie the Pooh one called How Do You Hop So High? How do you hop so high? Something very peculiar is happening in the 100-acre wood. Tigger wasn't moving. Are you sure that's Tigger? Roo asked Pooh. Well, said Pooh, it certainly looks like Tigger. Yes, but he isn't acting like Tigger. No, he's not bouncing. Sorry, this page is hard to turn. Really hard to turn. At that moment, Tigger noticed his friends. He held his finger to his lips. Come here, on your tippy toes, buddy boys, he whispered. I want to show you something amazing. Look, Tigger said quietly, pointing to a spot on the ground. I don't see anything, said Roo. You have to stay very still and look very closely, Pooh said, or Tigger said. Oh, shouted Roo, I see it. It's a frog. Do you see it? At Roo's shout, the frog hopped high into the air and kept hopping till it was out of sight. Hop, hop, hop. Whoops, said Roo. Sorry, Tigger. I didn't mean to scare him away. That's okay, Tigger said. Did you see how high that little fellow could hop? Roo nodded. I can hop high too, he said. Watch. Hopping is what Tiggers do best, said Tigger. Look. What about you, Pooh? Called Roo. But when Pooh tried to hop, his feet hardly got off the ground. The other two could hop pretty good. How do you hop so high? Asked Pooh. It's easy if you have spring in your tail, said Tigger. Or big bouncy feet, said Roo. Or springy frog type of legs, said Tigger. I guess I just wasn't made for hopping, said Pooh, looking at his sprungless self. Guess what else I saw when I was sitting still and observing, Tigger said. You'll never guess. Can you guess? I saw fish. Where? Asked Pooh, looking around. In the pond, Tigger said. Over there. Maybe if we wait quietly, it will come back, Roo said hopefully. There they are. They're all watching carefully. Have you ever watched for fish? I have. So the three friends settled into the grassy shore of the pond to watch and listen. Soon Pooh was snoring gently. Roo fidgeted and twisted and twitched. It's awfully hard to sit still and be patient, isn't it, Tigger? Roo whispered. Sure is, Tigger agreed. But if you stick with it, you'll start to notice wonderful things like dandelion fuzzies floating in the sunshine and shy little chirp chirps in the trees. And oh, look, Tigger said excitedly. A fish in the pond. Tigger woke Pooh and the three friends watched the fish splash and swim through the water. How do fish learn to swim underwater? Pooh asked. I don't know, said Roo. I can't even put my head under the water. Can you put your head under the water? Swimming is something that Tiggers do best, Tigger said. I'll show you. Tigger dove into the pond and came up sputtering. I suppose it might be even better underwater if I had been born a fish, he said. I suppose so. Can you swim underwater? Tigger lay down on the sun to dry, soggy and shivering. He soon found himself eye to eye with a brown squirrel. Quick as a flash, the squirrel grabbed up an acorn on the ground next to Tigger and hightailed it up the nearest tree. How do squirrels climb like that? Asked Roo. Ooh, I'll show you, Tigger cried. Climbing is what Tiggers do best. Tigger climbed up onto a branch of the tree and got stuck there. On a second thought, he called down to his friends, maybe climbing is what squirrels do best and Tiggers do second best. Maybe. Can you climb a tree? Suddenly, Tigger noticed a nest on his branch. It's filled with baby birds, he said. Oh, it looks like one of them is going to try to fly, Pooh said. The friends watched in amazement as the tiny bird fluttered its little wings and flew into the air. How do baby birds learn how to fly? Roo asked. It just so happens flying's what Tiggers do best, said Tigger. But, he added, looking down at the ground from his perch, Tiggers don't fly nearly as much as birds do. See the little bird flying? And I think Tigger might be feeling a little nervous. Can you fly? No, I can't either. Isn't it amazing what different animals can do? Roo asked after he and Pooh helped Tigger down from the tree. Some can hop and some can swim, said Tigger. Some can climb and some can fly, said Roo. I'm not good at any of those things, Pooh said sadly. Are there any other special hopping, swimming, climbing, flying things to choose from? He asked hopefully. Let's go observing, that means watching carefully, and find out, Tigger said. Come on, buddy boys. Wonder what else they'll find out. Stopping often to look and listen, the friends discovered lots of different animals with special talents. They saw ducks gliding on the water and a beaver building a dam. They saw a gopher digging a hole and a bee collecting pollen. Do you see all those things? There's a little beaver building his dam. And there's the bees flying around to collect the pollen. What else? Oh, the gopher who dug his hole. They were nearing Rabbit's garden when a fast-moving blur rushed past. It was Rabbit. He was rushing to chase the bird away from his newly planted seeds. "How do you run so fast?" Pooh asked when they finally caught up. Rabbit shrugged. "It's a rabbit thing, I guess," he said. "It would be a Tigger thing, too, if it didn't tire me out so much," said Tigger. That's true. Rabbits are very fast. Just then, Eeyore came by carrying a heavy load of sticks. "How do you carry so much, Eeyore?" asked Pooh. "I'm really strong," said Eeyore. "Carrying things is easy for me." "For me too," said Tigger, struggling to juggle several skinny pieces. See how big Eeyore's pieces and how skinny Tigger's are? Tigger thinks he's good at everything. "I didn't know until today you had so many talents, Tigger," said Roo. "Ho, ho, ho! There's not much a Tigger can't do," cried Tigger. Pooh sighed. "I'm afraid there's not much a fluffy-headed bear like me can do," he said. "Not so, buddy boy," Tigger cried. "Everybody has a talent of his own." "Maybe if I go to my thinking spot, I'll be able to figure out what my special talent is," said Pooh. "We'll help you, Pooh," said Roo. "Yeah, thinking is what Tiggers do best," said Tigger. So the three of the friends went to Pooh's thinking spot to think. "I have an idea," Tigger said. "Let's draw a chart and rememberize ourselves of all the different kinds of animals and different talents that we've seen." But when they finished drawing the chart, Pooh's spot was still blank. "See," said Pooh, "I'm not very good at any of these things." See Pooh's spot? You think Pooh's good at anything? "Maybe not," said Tigger, "but you're the best tummy bouncer in the 100-acre wood." "Yes, and I've never met anybody with a better nose for honey," said Roo. "You can smell honey from miles away, Pooh." See how he rubs his tummy? A tummy bouncing? How I can smell that honey? Those are some good talents. "And we haven't even mentioned your most specialist talent of all," said Tigger. "And that's your talent for friendship, Pooh." Then Tigger drew a picture of a big puffy heart right under Pooh's name on the talent chart. Look at that. Boom. Everything has talents and abilities that makes it special. In many cases, an animal's talents help it to survive in a particular place. Fish swim and breathe underwater, so they have a special talent to live in ponds, lakes, rivers, and oceans. Squirrels can climb trees where they find food and shelter. Beavers can cut down trees to build their own homes. All animals, from tiny to small, even to us, for us to see, to the biggest whales living in the sea, are born with unique natural abilities that help make them what they are and shape how they live. That's because God made them that way. Young children can learn through observing, comparing, and creating. Use the following to help your child learn more about animals' special talents. So this is something you can do. Step 1. I want you to spend some time outside when your parents say it's okay. I want you to sit very quietly and observe. I want you to look with your eyes, listen with your ears. Sometimes you can even smell something with your nose. And I want you to find out if you can see any type of animals using their special talents. Then, step 2. Tigger, Pooh, and Roo compared themselves to the animals in the story. How do your talents compare with the ones in the story? Are you able to swim or climb? Remember I asked you those questions? Flying? Well, we can only fly in a plane or a helicopter. Step 3. You can make your own talent chart with a piece of paper and some markers. Draw a grid just like Tigger did. Lines down and lines across. Fill in the animals and friends that you've observed. So like if you saw a bird, you would draw a picture of a bird at the top of one column. And if you saw snake, you could draw a picture of a wiggly snake. And you could draw a picture of you. And then draw some of the special talents. Like the bird, you could show it flying, or it's standing over a little hole in the ground looking for a worm to pull up and eat because they like worms. A snake, you could draw a picture of it slithering on its belly. Have you ever tried to slither on your belly? And you, well, what can you do special? One of my grandsons has a special talent for storytelling. And some of my grandchildren have a special talent for cooking. They like to cook with Grammy. Some like to draw. So you think about those things, and that will help this story mean even more. So I hope you enjoyed it. It's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. I want to tell you, I love you. I really do. I'll be back tomorrow with a Bible story. Good night. God bless.